Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nadia Smith. I'm BEKA Schréder's Senior Communications Officer. In today's webinar, we will be discussing control solutions for all light industries. Please note that we will be recording this webinar and we will upload it to our YouTube channel. For any specific questions, the Q&A session will be held after the presentation. Okay, so let me introduce our speakers to you. Grant Combrink is our Marketing and Segment Development Manager. Peter Venter is our Segment Manager for Manufacturing and Processing. And Dani van der Nest is our Project Manager and Systems Engineer. Today's agenda looks as follows. We will first briefly introduce our company to you. Then we will discuss the benefits of controls. This will be followed by the types of control solutions available. We will then delve into Schréder Itera. And after the wrap-up, we will have the Q&A session. So without further ado, let me hand over to Grant.
Yeah, good morning and a warm welcome from me. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start off this journey together with part one. But first, let's go into some introductions. It's always good to, for those new people joining us today, a reminder of who we are, where we come from, and then we can get into the systems part of it, which you all here for. So first of all, for those that don't know us and those do, a little reminder, we are one of the leading manufacturers in luminaires and glass fiber reinforced poles over South and Sub-Sahara Africa. We're very proud to be, it's our 45th anniversary this year, so you'll be hearing a lot more about that. And also over 10 years of LED manufacturing into the region. Just a little bit of history about us, the roots, African roots in Namibia from 1978, moving to South Africa where the manufacturing facility is based in Olifantsfontein in Gauteng. We then entered in a partnership with the Schréder Group, a multinational company based in Belgium, and then wholly owned Schréder company as of 2013. And now we're part of the Schréder Group, and as you can see, we're really driving the technology, optimizing the light control technologies that we're going to speak about today, and really, as you can see, then experts in lightability, experts in lighting. So something that we're also very proud of is our local employment. We really take our manufacturing to a new level to make sure that we that obviously we employ local, we manufacture local, we use local suppliers, and that really drives through to our BE level, and we're very proud of the level 3 that we do have. So again, just to stick with some of the introductions, we were one of the first ISO 9000 factories in the country. So we're really proud of our quality and of our luminaires, everything from the material all the way through to the electrical components and the optical components of that. We really use the best materials and the best suppliers and components in the market. And something that we're really going to emphasize today is the energy saving. And the commitment to that, I think it's a word that has been used quite frequently and loosely. So we really want to actually look at how we're going to save today and what savings we can bring to you from a whole different aspect, because just having a percentage saving on if we're converting from conventional lighting to LED lighting is only one small part now. So we really want to look at the overall savings that we can give you. And then something that we really extremely proud of is in our R&D. We manufacturing product for Africa's harsh conditions. We do know we have a wide range of temperatures, and we've got a team of experts that do a lot of research into lighting, really driving the innovation in the market, which you'll see today. And we're really developing products to make sure that we give you the best possible offering for your applications. Speaking of which, some of the products, and just a snapshot all the way through from what we renowned for is our street lighting, our mining products, high bays, urban decorative products, post ops, all the way through the value chain of applications. As you can see below, we really cover all parts of the lighting industry and give you the best possible option. And also, in that case, if there's any special need and a product that needs to be created for your application, we will also entertain that. A word from our general manager, Mr. Daniel Kasper. And I think what's important here in this conversation is really the word of innovation. And that's what we're really going to drive and mention today, is because we're really driving this through into the market. And that's really one of our value drivers. Okay, let's start getting into the control side. So we're going to jump around a bit between some value drivers which are important to you, and also going to look at some history of controls and technology. In further webinars and presentations to come, we'll go into some more detail, but this is just really to give you a snapshot of that and an overview of our systems, our system offering, which we'll talk about as we go along. Okay, so the energy saving part. So one of the benefits of controls, which everybody is talking about, we really want to save energy. That is a big part. Obviously, the cost of that is going up. Obviously, the need to have solar, the need to have any backup, specifically with the load shedding and power outages. But the part of the controls which is also important is the dimming function, to actually have the light on demand and where you need it. Also to be able to schedule that accordingly if there's no need for light in certain applications at certain times during the night, where you could actually switch off specifically or dim down to a safety level, which is important. So really, when we're talking about the savings here, we really need to look at it holistically in this form. Another part of the savings is really for you to have control of managing your asset. You know, you've got an investment where you either a new project and you're using a LED luminaire from us, or you want to convert from conventional HID to LED. You have an investment, and the controls offering that we're going to show you is going to allow you to manage this better. And one of the big parts also of energy saving is actually the maintenance behind that. So reduced maintenance is highly important to your applications, to your budgets, where you'd rather have the peace of mind that and really a firm hand of your maintenance with regards to that. The adaptive lighting part of it, another huge benefit in your application is allow you to use integrated sensors in the unit to be able to at hand be able to change certain settings according to your needs, to be able to adapt to your applications. In a lot of warehousing logistics areas, you might have a racking arrangement changes. You might have a situation where you might be having a whole different stock warehouse that you want to create, and if your lighting is set up in a certain way that is that you don't want to do a reinstallation or change it, you want to be able to adapt the lighting levels according to the task at hand that you have there, and this will allow you to be able to group lights. But let me not steal the rest of the presenters' thunder, but because it's quite an exciting control system, we will go into more detail about that. But just think, while we're going through this presentation, okay, how can I adapt my application using the lighting? And it actually gives me the flexibility to do that. again, as we go into the flexibility, I think the flexibility for the future of this is that I haven't just got a luminaire that is going to last me X amount of time. I've actually got something that I can integrate with third-party applications. I've got a whole system that I can adapt. So when you're looking for a control system, think about what I can do with this going forward. How can I control this going forward? How am I controlling this asset? So I think that's really, really important from a benefit point of view. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Venter. Peter, you want to carry on with some of the control solutions?
Thank you, Grant. Yeah, good morning, everybody. If we look at control solutions or control systems, it can basically be broken down into 3 different levels. If we look at level 1, it's just a basic manual system. Level 2 is an autonomous system which requires sensors. And then level 3 is a complete Bluetooth autonomous system with different triggers. If we delve a little deeper into the different control systems, you can see level 1 is a manual system with basic on and off function, which requires human intervention. And then level 2, there's a trigger from a component and no human intervention that will switch to luminaires. And if we look at level 3, it is a complete autonomous system which can be controlled with several triggers, such as either sensors or scene control or time-based controls. Now, if you look at a system where manual control is required for a basic warehouse or a facility where a one-to-one replacement is required for your existing HID luminaires, we offer a high-quality product. The products are designed and manufactured from high-quality materials and components. Obviously, as Grant has also said, it is very energy efficient compared to traditional HID. And also, it's very versatile. It's not limited only to warehousing, but it can be used for multi-purpose halls, even indoor swimming pools. Sustainable, again, it's a buzzword nowadays. Everything must be sustainable, and it requires a lot less maintenance than your traditional HID luminaires. An optimized construction, it's designed for maximum output with no light losses. Grant. The autonomous system, it requires a daylight switch, and it has different modes which can be adapted to various different applications and requirements. It's easy to install. It requires limited commissioning. It provides, as we said before, it provides energy saving compared to your traditional HID luminaires. And there's a much quicker return on investment, as the savings is a lot more substantial than just purely switching from HID to LED. Next slide. And then if you look at a complete autonomous system with the daylight sensors, different modes which can be programmed and to be adapted in various different applications and requirements depending on your specific needs. There you can see the energy savings. Obviously, it's based on a case-by-case study, but as I said before, sensors offer the next level from purely just switching from LED or from HID to LED. And there you can see the different applications, from indoor parking structures with high bay lighting with no daylight control versus the same facility with daylight control. And as I said, different applications and different modes can be programmed based on your specific requirements. Then I'm handing over to Mr. Grant Kemp again. Grant Combrink again. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Okay, let's just go back into some value drivers before we go into some more some detail. But I'd also want to focus on some of the protocols, just to give just a little bit of a history. I mean, some of you would know this quite well, but we need to understand what is a system protocol. Effectively, it's a way of communication. This is a medium that is used in any BMS. It's a lighting system communication, amongst other things. If you had to think of all the protocols, we have everything from in our hands. We constantly connecting to different, everything from Bluetooth to Wi-Fi. So the protocol is a way of communication, and you know, different protocols have been developed over different years, especially for the lighting industry from years back. And we have also different manufacturers have had proprietary systems, and then there's also different or groups of manufacturers that have come up with some open protocols, which we'll go into some more detail. So effectively, the control system has different control systems, have different protocols using different BMS systems. So what we're trying to show you today is actually bringing a lot of this together and using a protocol that is really, really simple and easy to use. But the main thing is you want to be able to have things to be able to talk to each other. So we really need to bring these, you really need to have a good view, a bird's eye view of these protocols to actually understand what can talk to what, and what you can use to optimize your benefits for your assets. So just to talk about these intelligent luminaires, obviously it was obviously born in the indoor environment. The outdoor environment is growing from the entertainment world of lighting controls, and we're really bringing those two together from the different applications to give you something that you have full control over. So it's always been there's always been an intelligent luminaire with an intelligent driver built into the luminaire. This will communicate via controllers or specifically a standalone unit. A lot of this communication is done over a cable, but in many cases now, which we'll show you, is done over wireless communication. There is a diverse range, as mentioned before, across all markets, and specifically the lighting one. And a lot of it is driven by a certain cost and advancements of technology, and that's we'll see how we're advancing that today. Some of the protocols that have been around for many years is the driver, let's call it a ballast control system, built into the luminaires specifically, very manual 1 to 10 volts DC system, and a Dali system. We'll go into some more detail about that. And what we're trying to do with this system we're going to show you today is we're bringing dynamic control into a functional control system that allows you to have the most control of it. So we're giving you different aspects and benefits of different lighting protocols into one with a Bluetooth system. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about these, just to give you some more background. 1 to 10 volt system, and a lot of people, some people call it a 0 to 10 volts, but when you look at it, 0 is actually off because there's no voltage in the system. So this is a wide analog system. It's a driver controlled, and the voltage between 1 to 10 volt, where 10 would be the maximum and 10 will be the lowest dim state that you'll have into your luminaires. It's a unidirectional, that you're only sending information one way. So it's quite limited, and there's no specific feedback to the driver itself. Again, analog system, as mentioned, you're going from the 10 volt 100% to the 1 volt minimum dim level. It's quite easy to troubleshoot specifically because you measure it with a voltmeter. Some of the cons to this, you have very few channels per controller. And today's lighting systems actually have many channels, and this analog dimming can be quite cumbersome and expensive. This is just to give you a shot of this where you can actually see how the controller and all the wiring involved. So when you say a manual protocol, is that it's a lot of let's say work involved here to wire the system up. You've got your power line, you've got your dimming DC lines to your luminaires, and you have to group accordingly. It's quite it's a cumbersome and expensive way with regards to installation. Then if we have to look at DALI, this is a wide digital system. It's bi-directional communication. So you can send and receive information. This does require commissioning, specific addressing to the driver. So you would give that particular luminaire, that particular driver, a certain code or address. So the driver knows, and the communication knows, I'm speaking to that certain luminaire, that driver, etc. It's a very stable communication, but it can be slow at times. Okay, so protocols specifically for DALI. So DALI is a digital addressable lighting interface. And while we're going deep into this, because this is the backbone of our system that we use, it's a digital protocol and the communication again between controller and luminaire. It's an open standard. Again, it's not a proprietary system. So this is used across manufacturers, and it's nice that you can have third-party integration into your system where you can use different components. And you can have individual addresses, as mentioned, in the DALI network. So it's less complex to commission. Yes, there is commissioning, but it really allows you to be in control of that because you have that two-way communication. Okay, and that's just to give you a little bit of a schematic of that, where you've got your general control, your controllers, the DALI signal, the cable, and the communication to the luminaire specifically. Okay. This, again, it's an international standard. It's the most cost-effective currently. Easy installation and commissioning relative to your application, of course. And it's nice because you do get that feedback messages from the unit, and it literally can tell you let's call it the health of the unit, what is going on in that luminaire. It is mainly a lighting control, as we all know, and you are limited to the amount of ballast per controller that you in 64 units that you can control per controller. There are many ways to extend the system, everything from repeaters to different DALI controllers, but mainly if you have one system, that's what you would be limited to. Okay, just to go into some to Bluetooth. As you all know, you've been using Bluetooth for many years now with your phone, and you've been connecting anything from headsets to other controllable devices in your house. So we're really bringing this now, in this world of quick gratification, we all want everything at a push of a button. So we're really actually bringing this whole lighting control interface back into your hands, and you'll see that to come in some more detail. So it requires a minimal commissioning. As you all know, it's a digital signal, and the communication speed, depending on the line of sight or the line of signal, is quick. Okay, so let's back into some value drivers again. It's important to know this because now when you're speaking to any one of your lighting suppliers, or you're speaking to us, really understand the biggest benefits you can get from your installation and your asset itself. So again, with the energy efficiency, so don't look at it as just energy. I'm just saving money in the pocket from my utility bill. Scheduling, I've got light sensors, I've got motion sensors. I want light on demand where I need it. I really want to get the right lights, take advantage of this lighting system. I want temperature control. I want color temperature control. I want a different light intensity. I want different scenarios. So really drive the conversation with us to say, what is the most I can get out of this asset? Obviously, there's a safety and productivity levels, which are mostly important because still governed by the OSH Act, and there's certain light level requirements a lot. So please always remember the safety and productivity side of this. So we want to make sure that the task at hand that you're getting, that it's the optimized light level and task, and the visual task that you do have is optimized for your needs. Making the technology convenient, that's what we're trying to do here, which we'll go into more detail. It's remote, it gives you access, and that, let's call it that quick gratification. Again, you have first-hand access to control your asset, monitor, see what your consumption is like, different scenarios. You're able to remotely switch on, switch off, dim accordingly. So it's really a driver for you to look at this to control your asset. And another huge thing is obviously to increase the lifespan of your luminaires. In a dim state, you're obviously protecting the luminaire, and you're giving it an extended life. So that's really important. So I'm going to hand over to Donnie. He's going to get into some nitty-gritties and introduce the system to you. And yeah, thank you, Donnie.
Thank you, Grant. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so let me tell you more about the system itself. By name, we call it Itera. This system was developed for us specifically with the intention of wireless control from our luminaires. Now, if we mention wireless, for the engineers out there, it is very clear that no system is completely wireless yet. That technology is quite far from us, but we are working towards that. So if we mention wireless in this part of controls, we are talking about nodes that can specifically talk to each other without being connected to each other. Now that saying, let me tell you more about the functionality of Itera. The idea for this application surely is that it's focused on giving the managers of an area, of a building, of a warehouse, the functionality of controlling their luminaires, but also to create a safe environment for their employees and also their visitors. Now, the application is based on a mobile app that is downloadable from all platforms for all type of phones as well. It's from the App Store and Google Play, so it's free of charge. It can be downloaded to your smart device, and then once I attend to your site after the installation, I will do the commissioning and then populate that network onto your smart device, which enables you as the end user then with full control over your system. So yeah, why for this specific M&P? Yeah, because we want to control the indoor luminaires to the functionality as it requires, and therefore we normally would use motion sensors, which will use the light to vary the different light levels in your warehouse, for instance, but also for occupancy, motion, which will trigger the nodes and the lights to dim up and down accordingly. Next one, Grant. Thank you. Yeah, I think Grant has hammered on previous slides tremendously here. What's important to me really has to do with obviously the energy saving, the saving of the light as well, like Grant mentioned just now, and then the risk of your assets. So making sure that your building is safe in all ways, and what we intend to do when we talk to you about your application is to ensure that the triggers surrounding the environment is done in such a way that it's logic, but also that it's safe, you know, for the use of your indoor application. So yeah, and the impact to the environment, I think the CO2 emissions is really what our company strives to save. You know, it's part of one of our pushes to bring down emissions overall, you know, to the world. So to avoid rewiring of a DALI system, yeah, a DALI system can be very complex when it comes to cabling and addressing as such. Adding new things to a DALI system always requires a readdressing of the system, etc. But with the wireless system and the type of nodes we use, it is less cumbersome, it is easily installable, and it's also future-proof. So adding new devices to the system does not require addressing of the system, etc. So you know, we can talk about the hardware a little bit further down the line. Just the capabilities of the system completely. So we have an app which you use to control with. Through that, we can dim the luminaires up and down. Obviously, grouping luminaires for specific areas as well. Scene control is what I do and what I set up for you. So for specific scenarios, we create certain scenes. Animation as well. So although limited with DALI's capabilities of how fast it reacts, you know, compared to the DMX systems, we can create some animation for you. Scheduling, very important. So that is why autonomous comes in. So we can schedule things according to timers and different timings of the day, per calendars, etc. And then image control as well, something on the application that's quite nice to use, some visual effects, and then physical control, the manual control, which the human intervention takes over. Again, the benefits, nothing major that I can say more than what Grant has said already, but obviously specific to how the application pans out. It's a 100% wireless system between the controllers itself. So less cabling between your poles or your structures and your ducts and your cable trays, etc. It's plug and play. So once the controller is fitted to the luminaire, I have full control over it. Then you know, it's a standard Bluetooth communication system. Which also supports DALI 2 protocol with the new drivers, etc. And it's capable of communication up to 300 meters. Yeah, what else? There's, you know, the use of smart tablets and smart devices nowadays, which is a wow factor to the end user. It's something new to the world, that you can now just off your smartphone with a click of a few buttons, you know, control your luminaires up and down, etc. It's future-proof, like I mentioned. You can add to the system and expand on the system very easily with very little intervention of cabling, etc., and additional cost. So, you know, it's cost-effective by bringing down, you know, how many things you can control at a time. Grant, next. Yeah, it's based on a mesh network as well. Obviously, what we try to do is we make these nodes speak to each other in a very logical way, but also a robust way, so that communication is always functional and always there. You know, with a mesh, it's always self-healing, meaning that if one controller fails to communicate, it always gets forced by another controller to receive data, you know. So that is what makes a mesh network very, very preferable, you know, to many others. So in this case, you know, it's built on Bluetooth 4 and Bluetooth 5 technologies, and obviously with the two technologies, there's limitations to how strong the signal is between the controllers. We have possible gateways that we can add to the system, which gives you somewhat remote control use. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of adding something to a network of your building, and then you can control your lights from a distance, you know, meaning any part of the world, because you're now running internet communication to your controllers. Next slide. Yeah, when we delve into the hardware, what we are offering are these nodes, intelligent nodes, like I mentioned on the left-hand side here. We have two very obvious protocols, which is on the receptacle side, the NEMA and Zaga nodes, so that we cater for all applications and all type of luminaires and drivers. Obviously on the Zaga, that's where the new clever drivers comes in, your D4I drivers, etc., which gives powers to the node itself. And then we have an internal node called the module node, which we build into a smart box that could fit into ceiling applications, you know, so for indoor buildings, offices, etc. The control press switches, so not only off your smart device, but we also offer something physical that can be mounted into a wall or a socket, and then it can be controlled manually by the end user. But also these are also Bluetooth compatible, so it uses battery operation on the Express one. So it just gets plugged onto the wall, fixed to the wall, and it runs off a lithium battery, which doesn't require any mains input. The dynamic switch is something we use very cleverly with press button switches. This normally is meant for applications very large, where it has to be built into electrical boxes, for instance, where physical control is required. And then the gateways, as I mentioned, we have a Lite and a Pro. The difference between the two is just where it is being applied, and the functionality is similar. The one is IP rated highly and the other one not, and that is why it's specific to application, but functioning very similar. And then the Itera box. The Itera box is a robust, very strong aluminium box that we use in the field. It gets mounted onto high mast poles. It can be mounted onto any flat structure, etc. It can be strapped onto round poles, for instance, and with the different receptacles between NEMA and Zaga, we then offer the node applicable, and then your drivers are connected directly from this box to your luminaires, and that's how we then control the luminaires, you know, from a distance. Next, Grant. On the software side, yes, obviously we have the application, and this is an easy commissioning tool as well. So once I get hold of your site and network, I start setting up networks, and through these networks we have the different nodes. Then the application goes into the visual screen. Like I said, this gallery screen that you can have with screen control, the scene control in the middle there, and then all the different timers, sensors, and gateway setups that we can do on the other two slides there. Next one.
Thanks, Donnie. I'm going to just quickly hand over to Peter. Let's just get buttons working here. Mr. Venter, do you want to quickly shoot through that?
Yeah, thank you, Donnie. As you can see, these systems are available on a lot of our luminaires, from flood lighting to bulkheads, the vapor line, street lighting, post stops, high base, obviously for various applications. And we offer a complete solution from lighting audits, lighting designs done according to SANS or to OSH Act standards. We offer cost-saving calculations and return on investment calculations. Thanks, Grant.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into more detail of the Schréder Artera process in the next part, but we just want to show, Donnie's quickly going to run through what we can show you with regards to the Artera system.
Yes, so when we do visit you, we want to show you a live demo set, for instance, you know, so we have this very smart box that we've created with full functionality of several scenarios and applications. There you can see a sports field, a street, a park, some facade, and also a warehouse on the right there. So this box caters for something visually that we can show you, you know, straight in your office or somewhere around, and we can show you the physical functionality of the app. You can try it out yourself. So it's a nice interactive tool to somewhat show you in a smaller scale, you know, what the system is capable of. So please, if we ever, you know, visit you, we will certainly show this off, you know, in the case box type scenario. Yes. So we have a next slide is an application we did recently in the Western Cape. It is still under construction, but this is just a warehouse type setup. This is actually an indoor sports application, but with high base, we can show you the full functionality of how the lights adapt to different scenes and how the scenes are switched, you know, in segments, depending on the control from the nodes itself. So when we sit down with you, we surely look at the need for the end user. We ensure that the functionality of the system is catered for. In this application, you can see how different sections of light is combined in groups to switch, you know, segments of the whole area on and off. These were based on quadrants because it's a square, and you know, it created functionality to use the whole arena in a way where the end user is completely flexible to where he needs the light and where it's required specifically. So yeah, it's a nice reference. If you would like to see it, we can certainly have you visit the area in Western Cape and show it off once it's done completely. Thank you.
Thanks, Donnie. Okay, so please contact us with regards to the Artera, and let's give you an in-house demo of this. It's really born from an outdoor application, the sports. We've had many reference sites now, and we're really bringing it into multi-faceted applications, as you saw in the demo box. So before you choose a lighting control system, you know, let us demo the Schréder Artera to you, so you can see all the functionality and give you real control over your assets. Okay, just some of we really want to give you, like mentioned, your business is important to you, so we really want to help you control your asset and investments and give you the best possible experience in your application. Nadia will go into some more detail with some of the marketing collateral that we'll be giving you, that you can have reference to, and just some of the sites that we're very proud of with regards to the installation, as you can see coming up now onto the screen. So really give us a call, let us know your needs. We'll happily address that for you and really get the best out of your application and your asset and investment. Okay, Nadia.
Okay, thank you all. So it's time for the Q&A session. You are very welcome to type your question in the chat, but please keep them short and to the point. Otherwise, you may also use the raise hand function and we will unmute you so that you can ask your question. Okay, I can't see any questions so far, but let's just wait a little bit. Maybe someone is typing.
No, if there's
Okay,
no
still
specific, yeah, I think contact your local branch, contact your local salesman. Peter Fent is always on hand to provide a service for you, as he mentioned. We really want to take your investment and application to the next level for you. So please let us show you the capabilities of the system and see how best we can serve you. That's really the most important thing. I don't know if there's anything else that has come up.
Rui has just asked a question, and I might be able to answer that very quickly. Rui, yes, daylight harvesting with Itera is possible with integrated sensors. So we have compatible sensors that the controller uses to control the light, and in the sensor part of the application, I'm able to address the daylight harvesting. It picks up different lux levels as per the setting from the sensor itself, and then the luminaire will dim according to those levels set. We can also use those levels as triggers, which we can use to create different scenes for certain scenarios. So definitely possible.
Okay, good. I think that's it then. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be emailing you our Lead Bay and Eco Bay product brochures, as well as of course, the Schréder Itera brochure during the course of next week. And the recording of the webinar will also be available on our YouTube channel then. And as mentioned, we also encourage you to visit our website and to get in touch with the relevant branch should you require more information. Please stay online to complete the very short poll. As always, there are just 3 questions and we really appreciate your input. You will have approximately 10 seconds to answer each question. Thank you and have a great day further.